It's time for another episode of Ask Me Anything. Today I'm going to share with you 10 answers for survivors of narcissistic abuse. So, let's get started.
Closed captioning provided by Athena Moberg and CPTSDFoundation.org.
My name's Angie Atkinson, and on this channel I offer free daily video coaching to help you discover, understand, and overcome narcissistic abuse in toxic relationships. I like to call it toxic relationship rehab. So if that sounds good to you, hit that subscribe button and let's get going. Each of these questions came from a survivor, and I think each one might offer you some insight and help that you may not have otherwise had. So let's just jump right into them, shall we? Number 1, how do I move on after I've spent the last 2 years as a recluse? I feel trapped in my head. I'm still scarred by a deeply traumatic past. How can I head forward into a real life filled with joy? Well, you've already made the first step to that life by wanting to have it. The next thing you have to do is start taking inspired action to get it. And like you said, you feel trapped in your head, and this does begin in your head. Assuming that you don't have any need for psychological intervention, one of the things you can do is begin to physically take care of yourself. You will often find that when you're taking better care of yourself physically, your mental health improves drastically. Another thing you can do is just start. Just do one thing. Take baby steps. As a matter of fact, I've got some more ideas for you. Take a look. One of the things I do with my clients that works really well is if I'm on a call with them and we're talking about stuff that's happening in their lives, sometimes they'll say to me, oh my gosh, I feel like I'm not even here. I feel like I'm dissociating. So they'll become triggered by something that they discuss, and they need to get back into the moment so that we can continue our session. So I will say to them, tell me where you're at right now. Tell me what you see in front of you. And I'll ask them to describe something, describe the walls, describe, the ceiling fan. Are you looking at your cat? What does your cat look like? Feel your cat. How does your cat feel? It's about bringing your mind into the moment. It's about finding yourself where you are. And sometimes it's about pattern interrupt and distracting yourself. This is a really handy, simple way to do it. Some people have suggested find all the pink things in the room, or find all the black things, or find all the words in the room. Look around you and notice your environment and describe it to yourself or to whoever you're talking to in the moment, if that's helpful. Another thing you can do is a lot of people love essential oils for this reason, or hand lotion for this reason. Find something that smells really, really good to you. Make sure you keep it with you at all times. I've seen people use little jars of essential oil, or they'll wear a little vial around their neck and they'll open it, take a good sniff whenever they feel themselves dissociating. And a lot of people say that's very helpful for them. I've had other people who carry a little bottle of lotion with them, and anytime they feel overwhelmed or dissociated, they put the lotion on their hands, they smell the lotion, they always make sure it's something that smells really good, they feel the lotion on their hands. That kind of stuff works great. The next tip I would give you is to brush your teeth or take a shower or do anything physical to physically care for your body, even one thing, even just brushing your teeth, because again, it brings you right back into the moment and it kind of distracts your thoughts. The next tip I would give you is when you are finding yourself feeling overwhelmed, anxious, depressed, or where you're dissociating, physically stand up and remove yourself from that situation. Even if that just means you go to a different room in your house, or you go out on the front porch, or you go take a walk around the block, it doesn't matter. Change your environment. It's a big help when you're dissociating. Number 2, how do you find the strength to say no to people who you know and care for? People who really need your help when you can't find the time to help yourself without feeling like a huge apple. I like that, apple. The best thing you can do here is to, first of all, know your boundaries and set them firmly. So if, for example, one of your boundaries is, I only do one extracurricular activity a week, then when someone says to you, hey, can you do extracurricular activity number 2, you can say, I'm sorry, I've already got my schedule's full this week. In fact, my schedule's full is a healthy way to say, I'm too busy to do the thing that you want. Or, I wish I could help, but I'm too busy. I have too many things happening right now. Or I wish I could help, but. So giving people the opportunity to know that, hey, I'm sorry I can't, but I can't. And not feeling guilty about it. Here's some more information that might help you.
Start to think about what you could be doing differently if people pleasing were not an issue for you. And then if you're in a situation where you're dealing with a narcissist, you're not going to be able to have a logical conversation about this. If the person is not a narcissist and they're used to you people pleasing for them, well, then you may want to step out and say, listen, this isn't working for me. Let's talk about it. But in many cases, when you're dealing with a narcissist, you're going to have to just start doing something different. So when someone says to you, can you help me with XYZ? Or, oh my gosh, something's terrible and I need help with this or that, instead of automatically saying, let me help you, I'll do whatever you need. Or if someone says, can you help me with this, that, or the other thing, instead of saying, well, yeah, I'll help you. I'll do whatever you need. And then later regretting it. Get into the habit of starting to say, you know what, maybe, but could I think about it for a little while? Or can I let you know I need to check my schedule or something to delay the commitment to the pleasing. And you can even say, I'll let you know tomorrow or whatever, so that not only are you giving yourself the space you need to think about it and logically come to a decision, should you or shouldn't you do this thing for this person, but you're also giving that person at a specific time that you're going to be willing to give them the answer. Now, it might be hard for you at first to say no to someone when you have been a people pleaser for your whole life, but you have to be okay with feeling a little bit uncomfortable at first. People who are really on your side, they're not going to have a problem with what you're doing. People who are a little bit more toxic and who are using you for your time and your attention and your efforts, those people are going to not like it very much, and they're going to have a problem with what you're saying. But on the plus side, what this will do is it will open your eyes to who you can trust, who's really on your side and who isn't. And some people will be a little bit shocked at first, and then they will get through it with you. Either way, you have to be okay with the discomfort that comes with this if you're ever going to become fully self-actualized and get past that need to please other people. This is going to help you feel more peaceful, have better peace at mind, feel happier, stronger, generally more independent, and ultimately it will lead to your self-worth going way up. The messed up thing here is that we all have to let go of our need to be liked by everyone.
Number 3, how do you get your self-esteem back after narcissistic abuse? This is a great question. I've done several videos on this, and I'm super excited that you asked. So I'm going to share with you some pretty interesting information. Take a look at the video and the card above. Number 4, I find myself feeling so ashamed that I was abused. I'm torn between wanting to tell people what he has done and being too scared that he will hurt me or the children, or use it in court against me. How do I find my voice? This is a personal issue for everyone. Some people feel totally comfortable telling the whole world, and other people need to keep their secrets a little bit. Do what feels best to you. You don't have to tell the whole world what happened, but maybe if you see it happening with someone else in your life, you can go and say to that person's victim, hey, I see what's happening here, and maybe offer a little validation. Or maybe you can join a support group like SPAN or one of the other support groups we have at queenbeing.com and talk with people there. Or maybe you can write a book or start a blog. Test it out. Feel what feels right to you. Come on my channel and tell your story maybe. Go to queenbeing.com and submit your story there. There are lots of different ways that you can sort of find your voice, but you have to do it in the way that feels comfortable and right to you. I'm really sorry I can't give you a better answer on this, but I will say follow your heart, follow your intuition. I think that's the best way you can go here. One more thing I want to add, don't feel ashamed. You can't be angry at yourself or feel guilty for something that you didn't choose and for something that was out of your control. You have to remember that it's not like you went into the relationship with a narcissist knowing that they were going to abuse you. You went into the relationship believing that they were that person they first showed you. So give yourself a break and take a deep breath and don't feel ashamed. Feel empowered and accept yourself for the amazing survivor that you are. Number 5, I am scared that I will fall for another narcissist because that's all I seem to attract. How do I stay away from these people in the future? I really don't know what a healthy relationship is. For me, they're all liars, cheaters, and cold-hearted manipulators. It's understandable that you would be worried about falling for another narcissist, especially if you've had more than one in your life, or even if you've only had one. But I think the answer is true self-acceptance, unconditional self-acceptance. Knowing that yes, you're flawed, you're human, we're all flawed, I'm flawed, but also, yeah, I'm flawed, but I also have a lot of really good qualities. And I also have a lot of good things to offer the world. And I'm somebody who deserves to be loved. You have to know those things about yourself. You have to know that you deserve happiness. You deserve love. You deserve to be loved. Yes, you deserve to be loved. But you have to also love yourself first. And you have to love yourself enough to know that it's better to be by yourself than it is to be in a relationship with someone who's going to mentally or physically or otherwise abuse you. You must value yourself and your energy enough to not give it to toxic people. So learn the signs, learn the red flags, but then take care of yourself. What I have found is that when you get to the point where you become more confident in yourself and your own abilities, you stop allowing people to walk all over you by nature. It just happens. Here's a clip of what a healthy relationship might look like, at least what my healthy relationship looks like.
The other day when I was in my live chat, one of my viewers kind of put me on the spot and said, hey, what does real love feel like? So I gave my answer, and I'm sharing it with you this way because I want you to see what I said without thinking. I want you to see what I said real love was off the top of my head in the moment. So take a look. So real love is not beautiful all the time. Sometimes it's a little dirty and nasty, and I don't mean that in a weird way. What I mean is that sometimes real love is hard. Sometimes you give 80% and your spouse gives 20, but sometimes it's the other way around, and sometimes it's 50-50. I think it feels like someone you can depend on. It feels like
someone you know for sure they're on your team. Here's an example of what I think real love looks like. So my husband and I, if we have any kind of arguments or fights, or not really fights, but arguments, because everybody has arguments, even people in love. We've been together almost 15 years now. I guess it was about 5 or 6 years ago. We were in a mild argument. He was downstairs, I was upstairs, and we were kind of, and we found out that some of our neighbors were spreading some rumors about us. And when I learned this information, I went right down to where he was and I showed him what I had seen on Facebook or whatever it was. And I said, "Do you see this? Have you seen this?" And suddenly we were no longer arguing. We were us against the world. And I think that's what real life feels like, is us against the world no matter what. So sure, you might have your little, spats and disagreements and stuff like that. But when it comes down to it, when times are tough, no matter what's going on, it's you against the world. And I think that's something that you never get with a real narcissist. You never get us against the world with a narcissist unless it's for their cause and not yours. You know what I'm saying? But I think real love feels like it feels comfortable. You can fart in front of each other or whatever, but but it also feels strong and it feels like family. It feels like someone that no matter what you go through, that person's going to be there. If you gain 100 pounds or lose 100 pounds, or which you know, or if you turn into something that you weren't before, that person will still love you. Another thing about real love is that you need to love more things about the person than you don't. So nobody's perfect. You're going to be annoyed with somebody sometimes. You know what I mean? But if you can, and I'm not saying you should necessarily do this in a healthy relationship, but if you could make pros and cons lists, your pros side would need to be a lot more abundant than your cons side, at least 51%, but I would say a little more, 75, 85% would be nice. Number 6, how do you get past the will I ever have companionship again thing? The neediness of wanting someone is killing my spirit. Oh, I have been here. I have done this. Here's the positive thing about this. First of all, you have to know that the desire to move forward and move on with someone else, when it comes later in recovery, can be very healthy. That can mean that you are ready to move into the next phase of your life. But this is a perfect time for you to kind of do a self-check. Kind of ask yourself, if I'm so desperately thinking that I need to be with someone else, what's missing in myself? What I found to be the most effective thing as I was going through my own recovery was I needed to be able to not need to be with someone else first. I needed to first fill my life up with myself, my child, and my home, and my job, and all the things I had going on, and my friends, and I needed to feel like I wasn't missing a part of myself, like I was whole all by myself. And then this way, when I was able to move forward and meet someone, I was able to do so without trying to force them into the little box that I had available for them to be in. This way, they could come in and add something to my life instead of becoming my life. Does that make sense? So when it comes to the neediness of wanting someone, of course it's going to kill your spirit. It will kill your spirit. I have experienced it. But I'll tell you something, if you can get to the place where you can start to see it as more of an addition to your life than a necessity in your life, and figure out what it is that you are missing, what goes in that little spot that's open for that person in your life, what can you fill it with? Figure out what you're passionate about. Figure out what you love to do. Talk to people who are not potential mates. Talk to friends. Be close to someone on a platonic level for a while. And most of all, learn how to be alone happily. Find a way to feel strong and whole by yourself. Because to be honest with you, when you are whole within yourself, you feel like a whole person, you don't need someone to complete you. That's when you kind of become the most beautiful or handsome person on the planet, because someone who is fulfilled within themselves, that person can be very beautiful, especially to the right eye. Just something to think about. Number 7, how can you get over being triggered by things that remind you of the ex? One of the first things that you can do is simply just remove anything from your home or your office or whatever it is that reminds you of that person. Clean the things out of your car, rearrange the furniture, make it your own. Even if you have to pick up and move to a different place if you don't own your home. And if you do own your home, don't be scared to paint. Don't be scared to, donate your furniture and get some new furniture, or even go down to the Salvation Army and get a little table or something to kind of spice things up. Change it up is my point. Change up your environment. And outside of that, try pattern interrupt. A pattern interrupt is basically a simple way to change someone's mind, someone's perception of a situation. Change their state or their general strategy of life. Sounds complicated, right? It's not as much as you think. See, we kind of go on autopilot. And while autopilot, again, can be useful when it comes to getting up in the morning, getting our showers, getting out the door, things like this, going on autopilot when we're under a great deal of stress actually causes us to have more stress in certain ways. We kind of fall into the habit of feeling overwhelmed. We fall into the habit of remaining unhappy. Have you ever been telling a story and someone interrupted you with a question? And even though you've told the story 1,000 times, you can't recall where you were in the story because someone interrupted you with a question? That's an example of a pattern interrupt. So you have kind of a momentary lapse. You sort of get a little confused. You're like, wait a minute, where was I again? It's almost like a little form of amnesia, right? Let's say, have you ever done this where you go into a room to get something or do something and you get there and you're like, wait, what was I doing again? Or you started to do something and you got interrupted and then you couldn't remember what it was you were doing in the first place? Here's the thing. When you find yourself in that kind of confusing state, it actually opens you up for something else. And that is a new perspective, a new form of clarity if you choose to use it that way. So let's talk about pattern interrupts and how they can be useful really quickly. You can interrupt your patterns when you're feeling just blah, like you can't do anything, you feel stuck. So for example, one of the really best ways to do that is like if you're feeling overwhelmed, let's say by housework, you might find yourself just sitting there looking around going, oh my God, how am I going to get all this done, right? And then you do nothing because of your overwhelm. Well, that's a habit. Next time you're sitting in your house and you're looking around going, oh my God, how am I going to get all this stuff done? Do one thing. Just go clear off a table or clear off a little tiny spot. Clean out your sink, make your bed, something small. And you'll find that your pattern of thinking, oh my God, what am I going to do? I can't do this, is interrupted. And you actually might end up changing your whole life with that one move. So what are a few things that you can do to interrupt your patterns then? One thing you could do is maybe step outside, on the front porch, pace back and forth for 5 minutes, come back in, whole life changes, whole perception changes. Another thing you can do, we've talked about before, do the 4 corners technique, where you follow the 4 corners of your phone or your TV or your wall or your door, or any square. Follow the 4 corners clockwise for 2 minutes with your eyes. It changes your perception somehow. Try taking a different route to work one day, or try not watching TV for a week, or try laughing. Sometimes just watching a funny video on YouTube or a funny show or funny movie can change your whole perception. Change whatever it is. Just do something different than you normally do. One of the simplest pattern interrupts is an affirmation. So what I like to do is if I find myself thinking really negative thoughts or feeling unhappy or feeling miserable, what I like to do is go, nope, I now cancel that thought and replace it with this affirmation of my true divine desire, and then I say what it is I really want as opposed to what I really don't want. It makes a huge difference in the way that I perceive my life. And that, my friend, your perception is where change begins. You bring about what you think about. So carefully cultivate what you're thinking about. Remember, whatever's in your head is what's coming to you. So drop all the negative thoughts. Try to stay focused on what you want. It does get better, I promise. Little bit by little bit, day by day, it gets a little better. I promise you it does. Stay focused on what you want, not what you don't want.
Number 8, what do I do when I can't stop thinking about my ex? Well, pattern interrupt, like we just discussed, is one great way to do it. But once you do that pattern interrupt, once you switch it up, then a couple of different things might help. Number 1, maybe you kind of need to work through it because maybe you're still thinking about that person. Because very often when we split up with a narcissist, we find ourselves feeling like everything is left unresolved. We think we don't have the ability to get closure. So a lot of times the reason we can't stop thinking about them is the lack of closure. So sometimes I find that if you sit down and you write a letter to the person, that can be really helpful. And you say all the things you need to say and maybe make some conclusions and figure some things out. And hey, if you need to throw a few cuss words and insults in there, I'm okay with it. Because in the end, you're not going to end up mailing this letter. You're really writing it for yourself. But if you need to mail it to feel validated, then you can. I found I didn't need to do that. Outside of that, I would say make an effort to go out in more platonic friend situations. Do what you can to find peace. Do what you can to stay busy. But the bottom line is if you need to go through some mourning, then take some time to go through the mourning. Because sometimes you need to feel sad for a while. Sometimes you need to mourn the relationship. And maybe that's something you need to be considering. The other option is that you might be dealing with trauma bonding. If that's the case for you, there's a playlist for you right there. Make sure you look at that and it's going to help you get through the trauma bonding. Number 9, how do you break bad patterns and create new ones? I love this question because this is a question that lends to real serious healing. And I'm going to go back to my last answer, pattern interrupts. That's a good way to start. But it starts with small change, one thing at a time. So you don't have to wake up tomorrow morning and become a whole other person, but you could wake up tomorrow morning and instead of laying in bed for an extra 15 minutes, maybe you get up 5 minutes earlier. Or instead of making your coffee before you take your shower, maybe you take your shower and then make your coffee. Whatever. One tiny baby change at a time, one little baby step at a time is a great way to start to break bad patterns and create new ones. Depending on the type of person you are, you can take this to extremes or not. Personally, I don't do well with big, huge sweeping change. I like little baby changes. I like little baby steps, and they can add up very quickly. You know, for example, we decided on January 2nd was going to be our first day of keto. We started keto, and it was great, my husband and I. But then you know, for the first few days, I just kind of followed the plan, but I didn't really track anything. And then I started, well, let me check the carbs on this thing. And then I noticed this app I had, really easy tracking system. So I thought, I'm just going to track. Even if I do go over, it's no big deal. And now here we are. And as I'm recording this, it's January the 10th. And I am now like looking at macros and knowing all these extra things about carbs and fats and proteins and things I didn't know before. And I definitely baby stepped my way into this. So you have to start with the will and the desire to break the pattern, and then you have to move forward from there with baby steps, one at a time. I like to write down the goals, you know, from a high level. I think this is a really great way for anyone to do it. It's like a timeline thing, right? So here I am today, and there I will be when I meet the goal. So 10 steps, 5 steps, however many steps you think it'll take you to get from where you are today to the goal, and kind of figure out what are the steps, you know. So like if you want to lose 20 pounds, here you are today and here you are 20 pounds lighter. What do you need to do to get from here to there? Or if you want to stop thinking about the narcissist, here you are today stuck in trauma bonding and Stockholm syndrome and all of this, and here you are in what, 30 days, 6 months, whatever, thinking about the narcissist 0 times a day. What are the steps for you to take to get from here to here? In any case, I think it involves a lot of self-reflection, a little bit of planning, and intention mixed with effort. Tell me your thoughts. All right, now this brings me to the question of the day. And the question of the day is, ask me anything. Do you have any other questions for me? Do you have any thoughts on the questions that were shared today? Could you relate to any of the questions today? Share your thoughts, share your ideas, share your experiences in the comment section below, and let's talk about it. I'm going to offer a really quick shout out to my entire family. You will notice a new thing I'm doing now where I'm showing you as many subscriber names as I can during this little section of the video. And they're right there. And I just want to say thank you so much for supporting me, for supporting this channel, for liking and sharing my content, and for just being here, commenting, being part of this family. Thank you. And a quick shout out to my amazing channel members, those people who support me through the YouTube channel membership program. Their contributions allow me to continue to make videos for you and be here for you every single day and help me to continue to grow my message in so many ways. Thank you so much, Inner Circle. The amazing Inner Circle includes T-Bear, Sylvia Rose, Thoy, Victoria, Julie, Patty, La Precious, Beautiful Purpose, Abraham, Chantel, Ashley, Carrie Ann, Charity, Steph, Dana, Mo Cowboy, Shay, Christina, Ray Ray, T, Christy, Boku, Alda, Smith & Wesson, Ms. Lisa, Martha, Freedom Lee, Mindy, Lynn, Marsha, Linnell, Phoenix, Cherie, Alice, Carrie, Angel, Bible News Radio, Linda, Charlie, Laura, Pierre Lala, Janet, Paul, Delilah, Sarah Lee, Marlene, James F., Trisha, Life's Revival, Lorenzo, Deborah, Roxanne, Susan, and my very first supporter, Angela Falsetto. Thank you. Again, I just want to say thank you so much for hitting that join button. Your support really does mean a lot to me. Again, thank you so much. All right, that's all I've got for you right now. But as always, thank you so much for being a part of my day and a part of my life. And hey, thanks for letting me be a part of yours. It really does mean a lot to me. Now, before I go, make sure you take a look at the videos I'm leaving for you right there and right there. And while you're here, hit that subscribe button so we can stay connected and continue on this healing journey together. I'll see you soon.